And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're really getting there thanks to you. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because the insanity, the lunacy, that's the word of the day, lunacy, it's not getting any better anytime soon. And today, Trump met with Poland's president, and they seemed, well, let's just call it quite chummy. Trump actually had military jets do a flyover when the president arrived to the White House. And at the same time, the Epstein survivor press conference was happening at the Capitol. Literally, you can hear the flyover during one of the victims' speeches. Now, that disrespectful moment wasn't actually enough for Trump, as he continued to claim, when asked, that the Epstein Files are a hoax. Yes, a hoax, while taking questions in the Oval Office. Play the clip.
There have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And Thomas Massie, who was sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on releasing those documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be. And he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow-walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax, because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now, D.C.
By the way, can't two things be possible at the same time? Let's just even turn around and say, fine, Mr. President, everything that you're saying about your successes are true and accurate, and you should be commended for them. Fine, let's even say that. But why does that negate the fact that there is a file that's there, not thousands of pages, but hundreds of thousands of pages that are asked to be released? Now, I want to say this, as I showed you in my earlier video, and you better have watched it, survivors are adamant that this is not a hoax. Now, Trump claimed that the files shared thus far should be enough. It's just enough. There's no reason to send the additional documents, and the ones that were redacted are redacted properly, accurately, and nothing's going to change. Play the clip.
Nobody's going to talk about, because they're going to talk about the Epstein, whatever. I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from two people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
Yeah, but it's, again, stop, please, Mr. President. I'm asking you, as somebody who knows you probably better than anybody, stop calling it a hoax. It is not only disrespectful to these victims, it's disrespectful to the memories of those that weren't able to deal with this pain. Don't call it a hoax. It's not. We always say that Trump keeps announcing these random things. For what? Well, to try and to distract us from the Epstein files. And today, Trump tried to say that Democrats are using the Epstein files to distract, yet again, from his massive successes. Play that clip.
All run by Democrats, or for the most part run by Democrats. So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success, like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about, because they're going to talk about the Epstein, whatever. I understand.
Yeah. So let me turn around and say this. Thomas Massie, not a Democrat. Marjorie Taylor Greene, not a Democrat. In fact, many Republicans who were there today, all right, turn around and they're asking for the same thing. It is one of the few bipartisan situations that we're seeing coming out of D.C. right now. And you know what? Rightfully so. Now, after talking about the 7 wars that he solved, Trump continued to talk about how he thought that the Russia-Ukraine war would have been easiest to resolve. Play the clip.
I have a power to end things. That's why I was able to end 7 other wars. And you know that I thought of the 7, they're basically 7. Those are tough wars to end. Much tougher, I thought, than the war with Ukraine and Russia. I thought that Ukraine and Russia have a very good relationship with President Putin. I thought that that would be much easier. I thought that would be in the middle of the pack, maybe one of the easiest. Sometimes you never know with war. You know, war is a very interesting thing. You never know with war. War is complex and dangerous, and what a mess, what a bloody mess.
Okay, certainly one way to describe it. It reminded me of like Sesame Street when I was a kid. 7 is the magic number 7. Hey, it's tomorrow. It'll be 8 wars that he solved, and the next day after it'll be 9. Again, I would love for somebody to please tell me what 7 wars that we're talking about that was solved. But by the way, if in fact 7 wars have been solved thanks to President Trump, by the way, how could he not be entitled to the Nobel Peace Prize? Now, Chinese leader Xi Jinping gave a speech ahead of a military parade, and Trump was actually offended. Okay, why was he offended? Well, he was offended because Xi Jinping didn't thank the United States enough for their involvement in World War II. Play the clip.
I think that we helped China very much, as you know, when they talk about freedom. And I don't believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe that America, that the United States was acknowledged for helping China to gain its freedom. But perhaps that was just that was a sleight of hand. I mean, I was very surprised. I watched the speech last night. President Xi's a friend of mine, but I thought that the United States should have been mentioned last night during that speech because we helped China very, very much.
Okay. Meanwhile, Trump then rambled about D.C. being safe and restaurants opening all over the district. It's funny, right? If you think about it, reporter pointed out that Trump hasn't actually gone out to eat in D.C. during either of his terms. Play the clip.
On tariffs? Will you visit a restaurant in D.C.? You haven't gone to...
I might, sure.
You haven't gone to one in either of your terms that wasn't...
How do you know? How do you know?
Because I and many other...
Do you want me to prove you wrong? Do you want me to prove you wrong?
Yes, please.
But I will, I think it's something we could consider doing. I'd love to do it. I love the White House food, but after a while I can see going to a nice restaurant. It's safe.
Yeah. So let me be very clear. This I happen to know for a fact. Trump has gone out to eat when he was president during the first term. I don't know about this term, but definitively the first term. And you may ask me, Michael, how do you know? And pray tell, please share with us this great information on where Trump went to eat. Well, the answer was he went to BLT, which was over at... Yes, Trump Hotel in D.C. BLT, Bistro Laurent Tussaud. Wonderful steakhouse. And I know Trump was there because he told me that he was going and the news reported it. Meanwhile, Trump also spoke about Gavin Newsom and, of course, talked about his hands, which, by the way, is total projection. I mean, obviously, we talk about Trump and the weave and the accordion hands when he's talking. Interesting that now he's talking about Gavin Newsom's hands. Play that clip.
And Newsom, this is a very incompetent guy. I watched him with the hands. I'm saying, what's going on with the hands? There's something wrong with him. Do you watch him? There's something wrong with this guy. But
yeah, let's just stop. Okay, let's just stop. And not worry so much about Gavin Newsom. Let's worry about the other issues that right now are confronting the country. Trump also said that if he hadn't brought the National Guard to L.A., it would have been taken By who? Play the clip.
I sort of want them to let it be known they have incompetent people. A guy like Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of a state that if we didn't go into Los Angeles with our soldiers, with our National Guard, you wouldn't even be having the Olympics there. They were going to take it. And remember this, your top law enforcement officer in Los Angeles said, there's no way we could have done this without President Trump coming in with the troops. We saved Los Angeles and we saved the Olympics. Thank you very much.
Wait, it would have been taken. Now, all I can see, of course, is like a Saturday Night Live skit of Trump as Liam Neeson turning around and saying, I have a very particular set of skills I've acquired over a very long career, skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. It was not taken. Or maybe that was Taken 2 or Taken 3. It was definitely one in the trilogy. And finally, Trump once again ranted about California and the water issue. Play that clip.
But more importantly, he didn't allow the water to come from the Pacific Northwest. You know, they have tremendous amounts of water in California. People don't know. They send the water out to the Pacific Ocean. So I demanded it be open. If that were open during the fire, before the fire, you wouldn't have had the fire because all the sprinklers would have worked in the houses. They had no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants. You wouldn't have had the fires. It would have been put out after one house, two houses. But he stopped the water from coming in. And I had to send in the military to have that water opened after the fires. And now they have water, but he should have more because they've restricted, they still restricted. There's something wrong with these people. There's something really wrong.
You know, I think what we really need is somebody nonpartisan from, let's just say, the Army Corps of Engineers to finally put this ridiculousness to rest, because the way Trump sort of describes it is that there's this giant spigot. It's a big giant spigot, maybe 20 feet by 20 feet long, a giant wheel. And you have to turn this giant spigot, right, in order to turn the water on. No, it's not true. That's just not true. And there was water filled up in all of the fire hydrants. This was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. This whole water issue, somebody needs to finally put this thing straight, because there's so much misinformation, disinformation, malinformation coming out of this White House like no one has ever seen before. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.